All right, everybody, welcome back. We are still at Augment Guitars, and now we are going to talk about what we actually came here for. And this is Pastor Mark's 1996 Gibson ES 135 semi-hollow with the P100s in it. So we are going to have Ben put a bone nut in it because what did you say this nut was?
I'm pretty sure it might be new bone.
New bone.
It kind of looks like it. I'll have to see once I get it off. It actually is pretty hard, but sometimes new bone has this kind of almost dullish look to it.
Right.
And kind of has like a certain color, and this is kind of getting there. But I'm not too sure. But yeah, we'll see when we get it off. So it might, if it, you drop it, it kind of makes that tink sound.
So just to verify, the nut that I brought you is that bone because I purchased it and I don't know much about things. So.
Yep, I can already tell it's bone.
All right.
So.
And I did mic them out on a video, and they are both 1.69. So.
Sweet. Yeah, just by eyeballing right here, you can tell it's pretty much dead on. So what I'll do, and you can see, and then this is a good test if you want to see if the nut slot is too low. You can push it down at like the 3rd fret, and what you're looking for is like the teeniest little bit of gap right there. And as you can see,
there's nothing.
There's nothing. So if I go to this one, you can see there's a little bit of gap.
Yep.
And all these are pretty much good. I mean, some of them are pretty low, but that's how I tell. Some people use, like I have some feeler gauges right here to measure everything. You do it so much, you end up just eyeballing it.
Right.
You can kind of just see when it's high or too low.
Well, I could tell it was too low, and the bridge wasn't fixing it. So I literally detuned it, and I popped this string out, and I just stuck a piece of paper plate in there to put it back in there to give it some lift. And sure enough, it took it away until it smashed the plate. But
right. So yeah, definitely, it needs a new nut. Like I believe what you said in one of your videos, you can, kind of fill it with some bone dust and super glue, which isn't bad. It's going to wear away, and usually if there's some other, strings that are just too high, you're better off just replacing
why mess around with it? Just get it done and be done with it.
Right. Another thing I've done before, if the customer didn't want a spring for a new nut or if it just wasn't in the budget, is I have, depending on what the wood is here, what I do sometimes is I'll make, if I can find a good piece, here this one will work. I have a bunch of spare like ebony, and I'll glue a piece of ebony on there and make a shim for it just to raise it up slightly.
You'll do it right in front of the nut on the neck, right?
So I actually do it you can either do it this way, or, well, usually you wouldn't want to do it that way because you'd see it, but if you just need to raise the whole nut.
Oh, I got you. Underneath
you would just,
of it.
Exactly. Glue it on there, and then I shape it with all my sanders and stuff over there.
I was misunderstanding. I was thinking you were putting it in here, so it went onto that. But
yeah,
no.
You can do that too. I think probably I would assume StewMac sells something that you can, because you do that a lot with Floyd roses and stuff. You shim up the nut. But yeah, it's just I'll glue something up on here, and it takes me 2 seconds just to take it over to the sander
and buzz it down
and do that. But 90% of the time, you just replace the nut. It's a wear item on a guitar. It's like it just happens over time. So usually I just replace them either with a bone, or I use tusk a lot too.
Now, one thing I did forget, I just put new strings on this. I forgot to bring any. Do you need new strings for this?
I think I should be good just with these strings. I'll probably just pop them off or pop them to the side. This looks like a pretty good fit, so I don't think I'll have to do too much stuff to it. Like the width is just pretty much there, or the length, I should say. Yeah, so it's pretty much there. I can just put them to the side, adjust, file what I need to file, and then, yep, I'll be good to go. So, yep, I'll have to cut around where the finish is on the nut just to prevent any cracking and stuff like that. I use razor blades and an X-Acto knife. I'm going to also do it on the top. I'll get the nut where it needs to be, replace it, and then I'll do a full from top to bottom setup on it.
Now, if somebody was to bring a job in like this, what's your turnaround time on it? Busy and not busy.
So if I'm busy, depending on the guitar, because if you can get a pre-cut one made, I mean, it's a pretty quick turnaround time, but I have an acoustic in there that I'm doing for a friend, and it's a 90s Fender, like a Montera, I want to say it is. I've never seen one. I don't think they made them for that long, but it has its own saddle and nut that you just can't buy. So you have to make one from scratch, and of course that takes significantly longer to do that. So for a pre-cut one, probably a day or two. Usually what I like to do is I do some things in steps, depending on if the customer wants different string gauges, if they're setting it up for a different tuning, because sometimes I like to replace the nut, and when I give it a setup, I'll adjust the neck, let it sit with everything and the new strings and all that, and then the next day I'll come back and do the full complete setup just to make sure the neck is good with the new strings, the new tuning, and make sure it hasn't moved anymore, because there's been times where I'll adjust the neck, have a day turnaround time for somebody, and then like the next day the neck was still moving. The neck was still moving back, and then I had to sometimes either coach them through adjusting the truss rod, or they'll bring it back and I'll fix it for them. No
That's
charge,
one thing that I haven't had the nuts enough to mess with yet, is my truss rods, because I've seen some horror videos on YouTube of people messing with them.
It's not bad. It is a bit daunting at first, but the key is just small movements. You adjust it a little bit, you check it, you wait. You know what I mean? You don't go. What a lot of people do is they'll start like just turning it a lot. And it's like, you just want to do, quarter turn adjustments, eighth turn adjustments until you get it there, and always check with like a straight edge. I use these notched straight edges.
Yep, that's what I got.
And you just keep checking it. And they're really cheap. I mean, you can get them at StuMac for an arm and a leg, but I got these off Amazon, I think, or eBay, and they were like under $20 a piece, and I got baritone scales. I got a bunch of them.
StuMac is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like some stuff you want to get there, but other stuff, you just
finish.
There's alternatives.
They got good stuff, so you can't go wrong there.
Right. But
I get it completely. So.
But honestly, this should be a really easy job, because the nut is like 90% there, and a lot of the times the work is just making a new nut or saddle.
Right.
It just sometimes takes a lot. So.
All right. Well,
yeah.
We'll go ahead and end this video. And again, if you guys want to find Ben at Augment Guitars, he is on Facebook, Reverb, and Instagram, and it is augmentguitars@gmail.com.
You got it.
All right, bud. Well, thank you so much, and we'll be back to pick this up.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Have a good one. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and look for him on the YouTube.